A guy came into the shop last month driving a brand new base model Colorado he financed for $38,000. Cloth seats, crank windows, no navigation. The same week, I helped a customer pick up a Lincoln Mark LT for $6,500. Leather everything, heated seats, 300 horsepower V8, chrome from bumper to bumper. That truck stickered for $43,000 when it was new. The Colorado driver is paying $620 a month for a truck with fewer features than a 2007 luxury pickup that cost him less than 2 of those payments. The truck market has convinced you that anything under $10,000 means rust, regret, and a check engine light before you leave the lot. That narrative was built by dealers who need you financing $50,000 trucks to keep the lights on. It has been draining buyers' wallets for years. I have been buying and selling trucks for over 15 years. I almost bought a loaded Silverado LTZ last year for $32,000 before a fleet manager I know showed me what was sitting on wholesale lots for a fraction of that price. What he pointed me toward changed how I think about the used truck market entirely. Before we get into the list, the truck at number 1 has a feature that was standard equipment, costs nothing to maintain, and makes every valet attendant assume you just pulled up in a $60,000 vehicle. I will break down exactly what it is and why it works at the end. Today, I am uncovering 3 luxury pickups the market has completely forgotten about, and what the dealers moving $50,000 base models have zero interest in telling you. For the last 15 years, buyers have been told that the Lincoln Mark LT was a rebadged F150, that Lincoln slapped a fancy grille on to justify a $10,000 markup. That story came straight from the Ford forums in 2006, when guys who could not afford the Mark LT needed a reason to feel good about their Lariat. It stuck, and it has been costing smart buyers a once-in-a-decade opportunity ever since. The Mark LT shared the F150 platform the same way a Cadillac Escalade shares its platform with a Tahoe. Nobody calls the Escalade a rebadged Tahoe. The Mark LT came standard with features that were not even optional on the F150 at the time. Heated leather seats, power-adjustable pedals, a premium leather-wrapped interior that Lincoln tuned specifically for road noise isolation, using extra sound-deadening material throughout the cabin and the firewall. I sat in a 2007 Mark LT last month with 154,000 miles on it. The leather was still soft. The seats still held their shape. There was no sagging, no cracking, no sun damage on the dash. That interior looked like it belonged in a truck with 40,000 miles. Lincoln used the same Nudo leather in these trucks that they put in the town car, and that material ages better than almost anything Ford has ever put in a pickup. The chrome rocker panels wrap the entire body from bumper to bumper. Park one of these next to a brand new XLT, and people will walk past the new truck to look at yours. For you, this means a truck that's stickered for $39,000 to $43,000 when it left the factory is sitting on lots right now for $5,000 to $8,000. That is an 85% depreciation curve on a truck with a 300 horsepower V8, a crew cab, a full-size bed, and an interior that still looks more expensive than anything you can buy new for under $40,000. The buyers who already figured this out are driving Lincoln luxury for the price of a down payment on a base model Maverick. But the Mark LT has one problem that keeps it off most recommendation lists, and that is its age. The newest one you can find is a 2008. The truck I am about to show you at number 2 solves that problem completely because it comes from a generation so over-engineered that fleet companies have been quietly stacking them in their lots for years. And the feature that sold those fleet managers had nothing to do with luxury. It was durability wrapped in a $45,000 interior. We are not at number 1 yet, and that one is worth staying for. But what you have just learned about the Mark LT is already putting a specific advantage in your hands that most truck buyers scrolling through listings tonight do not have. You know that the truck everyone ignores is the one with the best dollar to luxury ratio in the entire used market right now. The number 1 truck on this list takes that ratio and pushes it into territory I was not expecting when I started pulling the data. The Ram 1500 Laramie. Used Ram 1500s from this generation get passed over because of one component: the totally integrated power module, the TIPM. If you have spent more than 10 minutes on a truck forum, someone has told you that the 2009 to 2013 Ram will leave you stranded because of a faulty electrical relay box. That fear came from a real recall that affected a batch of trucks built between 2011 and 2012. But that recall was addressed years ago, and the replacement module runs $280 to $450 if you buy aftermarket. The internet turned a $400 fix into a reason to avoid an entire generation of trucks. And that is exactly why these are so cheap right now. The 2012 Ram 1500 Laramie with the 5.7-liter Hemi is one of the most undervalued full-size trucks you can buy today. This is not a stripped-down work truck with leather bolted on as an afterthought. Ram built the Laramie from the ground up as a luxury competitor. Dual-zone automatic climate control, power-adjustable pedals, a hard drive-based infotainment system, heated and cooled front seats, heated rear seats, and a heated steering wheel, all standard on the Laramie trim. The Ram 1500 is the only full-size truck from this era that uses a coil spring rear suspension instead of leaf springs. Every F-150, every Silverado, every Tundra from this period rides on leaf springs. The Ram does not. That coil spring setup is the reason the Laramie rides more like a luxury SUV than a pickup. It is the reason fleet managers who need their drivers in the cab for 10 hours a day started buying these instead of F-150s. And it is the reason that when you sit in a 2012 Laramie with the Hemi, close the door, and drive it down the highway, people in the passenger seat forget they are inside a truck. For you, this means a truck that's stickered for $42,000 to $47,000 loaded is available right now in the $6,000 to $10,000 range with the Hemi, 4-wheel drive, and every luxury feature Ram offered that year. The Hemi Vive 8 puts out 390 horsepower and uses cylinder deactivation to run on 4 cylinders at highway speed. That is not a number from a press release. That is the same engine Ram used in the Sport RT, the truck they claimed could hit 60 miles per hour in under 6 seconds. You are getting a sub-6 second truck with heated and cooled seats for less than a new set of wheels and tires costs on a 2026 Ram Laramie. Everything in the first half of this list adds up to a simple advantage. You now know about 2 trucks that combine for over $80,000 in original sticker value, and both sell for less than $10,000 today. If you are finding this useful, hit subscribe. We cover trucks the market has forgotten about every week, and the information in these videos is not showing up in your recommended feed by accident. What is coming at number 1 is where the numbers stop making sense in the best possible way. Because the truck sitting at the top of this list has a feature that with standard equipment costs nothing to maintain and makes every valet attendant assume you just pulled up in a $60,000 vehicle. I said I would explain exactly what it is, and I will, right now. We are down to the final truck on this list. This one almost never appears in budget truck articles or recommendation videos. Not because it is unknown, but because the people who know about it, the fleet managers, the wholesale buyers, the guys running auction lanes, have no incentive to tell retail buyers what they already figured out. The GMC Sierra 1500. Denali. Earlier I told you the truck at number 1 has a feature that with standard equipment costs nothing to maintain and makes every valet attendant assume you just pulled up in a $60,000 vehicle. Here it is. Most people skip over a used GMC Denali because they assume it is just a Silverado with a different badge. That assumption has been floating around since Chevrolet and GMC started sharing platforms in the 1990s. Dealers reinforced it because they make more margin selling you a new Silverado LTZ than pointing you toward a used Denali that is already paid off. The result is a truck that depreciates faster than almost any other full-size luxury pickup on the market. Not because anything is wrong with it, but because the people selling trucks have no reason to tell you it exists. The 2009 to 2012 GMC Sierra 1500 Denali is not a rebadged anything. It is the only truck from this era that came standard with a 6.2-liter V8 producing 403 horsepower, standard all-wheel drive, and the Denali-specific chrome grille treatment that GMC designed to look identical to its $65,000 Yukon Denali SUV. That grille is the feature I have been talking about. The grille does not add horsepower or change the suspension. It does something more valuable. It is a 6-inch tall, full-width chrome waterfall grille that GMC used across its entire Denali lineup to signal one thing: this is the most expensive vehicle in the building. I watched a customer pull into a hotel valet lane in Dallas last year, driving a 2011 Sierra Denali. He bought for $9,200. The valet moved a Range Rover to make room for it. The truck had 160,000 miles on it. The valet did not know that. What he saw was the Denali grille, the 20-inch polished aluminum wheels, the chrome door handles, and the body color bumpers. He saw a truck that looked like it cost $60,000 because every design cue on the exterior was built to communicate exactly that. From 20 feet away, a 2011 Denali and a 2024 Denali share more visual DNA than a Silverado LTZ shares with either one. That is not an accident. GMC protected the Denali design language more carefully than almost any other trim in the truck market. But the grille is just what gets you in the door. What is underneath matters more. The 6.2-liter V8 in these trucks is the same engine family that went into the Corvette platform. It produces 403 horsepower and 417 pound-feet of torque. That is more power than the current base model Sierra delivers in 2026. Standard all-wheel drive means you are not choosing between two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. You have both systems working together at all times. Heated and cooled leather seats, Bose premium audio, navigation, power sunroof, a backup camera that was rare in trucks in 2011. All of it came standard on the Denali, not optional. Standard. The original sticker price on a loaded 2011 Sierra Denali was $48,000 to $52,000 depending on options. Today you can find clean examples with 120,000 to 160,000 miles for $7,000 to $10,000. And here is the mechanical reality that seals this truck's spot at number 1. The 6.2-liter Vortec 5.8 uses a cast iron block instead of aluminum. There is no direct injection, so you avoid the carbon buildup that plagues newer engines. There is no active fuel management system to fail. This engine was designed to run, and the owner forums back it up with examples crossing 250,000 miles on nothing more than regular oil changes and a set of spark plugs. A mechanic I know in Houston has 3 of these trucks in his personal fleet. He bought all 3 for under $30,000 combined. He uses them for towing equipment trailers 6 days a week. The oldest one has 287,000 miles on the original engine and transmission. For you, this means the most powerful, most luxurious, and most visually commanding truck on this entire list is also the one that is most likely to still be running at 300,000 miles. You are buying 403 horsepower, all-wheel drive, a luxury interior that matches trucks costing 6 times as much, and a chrome grille that does the work for you every time you pull into a parking lot. All of it for the price of a good set of furniture. The people who already know this are the fleet operators, the wholesale buyers, and the mechanics who have seen what this engine can do over 250,000 miles. They are not posting about it online. They are buying them before you see the listing. Most truck buyers will walk past every single pickup on this list this weekend, not because they are careless, but because nobody showed them what you just learned. They will keep scrolling past the Mark LTs, keep ignoring the Laramies, and keep assuming the Denali name only belongs on trucks they cannot afford. They will finance a $42,000 base model truck with cloth seats and no navigation because a salesman told them that is what fits their budget. You now see the used truck market differently from 90% of the people searching listings right now. You can walk into a dealership, pull up a 2011 Denali on your phone, and explain to the finance manager that the truck you want costs less than his documentation fee on the new one sitting outside. You can spot the value gap that separates a $7,000 truck from a $50,000 truck, when the only real difference is the year on the title. If this changed how you think about the used truck market, share it with someone who is about to sign a 6-year loan on a base model pickup, because this is not the kind of information that shows up on the first page of search results. They will not find it without you. If you want to know what else the market is hiding, subscribe, because this is the only place these conversations happen. That video on screen right now covers the specific inspection checklist I use before buying any used truck under $10,000, and it will save you from the 3 most expensive mistakes I see buyers make every single month.